So you might be feeling a bit hesitant to start the still life portion of this pre-assessment. So if you are, that's totally okay. I want to give you a little boost by helping you get started. When you look at this, these directions, which I think for everybody will be on page slide 5, it says, to start by writing your name in the back corner. Okay. I don't know why I flipped the page over. They're both blank. That's okay. I always do that. It's quite silly. Okay, so now I flip it over. It says, first of all, do not fold your paper in half. Okay, so what you are going to do is start by measuring down the midpoint and draw a straight and light midline. Now, I have this nice ruler that I probably borrowed a long time ago. Okay, so I know that I gave you 9 by 12 paper, and I can measure. If you are fortunate enough to have a ruler, give this method a try. Okay, it works very well. You're going to measure at the top edge 6 inches, and then come down here and measure around 6 inches. And then that very, very, very light line, okay, is going to be right across here. Very, very, very light. Okay? Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, that's all fine and good, but, I don't have a fancy ruler. So then, just be clever, okay? Like, you can approximately see, and guess where the middle is. I don't think any of you are going to put the middle over here. So then just try to use something as a reference point. If you put the heel of your hand right there, like where does it have to be to make the midpoint? 6 inches. Can you find something else, or granola bar measure? Like, do your best, okay? But you don't want to fold it. You really don't. And you want to keep this midline very, very light. Okay, so the next thing is going to be to set up a small still life of 3 to 5 subjects in front of you. So some people are like, yes, I'm going to go get my cute little rat dog that's so excitable and fun. No. It says it right in the title. A still life. A still life is something that's not going to move. So unless you have one that has passed and is now stuffed and fixed into place, no, okay? This is something that just sits there. It's not a moving, exciting thing. It's literally still. But it still can be really interesting, all right? It doesn't have to be boring in any way. Make sure that they're going to sit in front of each other and look interesting. Oh, here's mine. Whoa. Okay, so once you do that, you're going to take a photo. This can help you in case you want to break up your drawing over time and you can't, for some reason, always have it set up. All right, but let's just say that you don't have to do that. You still have to take a picture for me, because I need something to compare to, since I'm not going to be seeing everybody's in person. Okay, see how that makes sense? So it's really important that you set up your little still life. You can play with it and try it a couple different ways, but once you've decided, you got to take a picture right then and there and keep it so that I can see it later. Okay, so back to the drawing. Back to the drawing board. All right, there we go. So here is the drawing. There, I think I've got it in view pretty good. This is a new and exciting thing I'm doing. Okay, so once you move, now that you're ready to move from the still life to your paper, first thing I'll recommend is that you draw facing your still life. Like, I'm set up here, and from my view, you know that my still life is over there. That's pretty foolish. Try lining yourself up, viewing straight on to the still life. Okay, that's pretty important. Now you can use this midline that you drew very lightly. Look back at your subjects and start to lay them in using cues like height on the paper to start to establish things. And you're just going to want to start really simple with simple shapes, okay, and think about things like scale. And I'm like really going to keep it nice and rough to start. That's all I'm going to show you today, because I'm not planning to do a whole drawing here. Remember that your what's important and what I'm evaluating for in this activity is the knowledge and skill at drawing in perspective from observation with simple shapes. Did you see how I had to stop? That's because I can't do some things at the same time, like talk and write or talk and draw. But right now, did you see how I'm doing this? This is me looking at where I'm going to place my next subject. I was going, where's the bottom of the can line up to my AirPod case? Did you see that subtle dropping of my favorite thing now? Sorry, it's just that I got them. I had to trade in my iMac for a PC, and that was really painful. The only good thing that this needs work. This is so bad, but I'm not erasing. Not erasing. What's more important is that I get these parallel lines right. Okay, back to my story. So I was I had to trade in my iMac for a PC, and the only upside really was that I got to do my trade-in for AirPods, and they're beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to do this again. I'm going to say, where do you line up? Where do their shoulders line up visually? Because this is going to slope in. Remember how soda cans are. So the shoulder of this is right here. This thing is like a little terrarium, a fake terrarium for a fake succulent. It's a good kind, really, because it doesn't die. Okay, so this is a little wide. See how you can adjust things? When you get to the second stage of this drawing, which would be to clean it up and, you know, snazz it up and shade it up and all that, then you can get rid of those practice lines that served you, but now you need them gone. Okay, so there's the general placement of that. I'm gonna need to clean up a little bit. This needs to be wider. It's because that white edge is like a nose. There's no line defining that. It has to just be shaded. Okay, so now in this space, this is gonna work out good because I have the edge of my mug just comes right up and kisses along that, and then it ends right about here. Over here, let's see, the bottom of the top of the ellipse right here, see this? It's going to be right about there, and the handle leaves about that much space. So this is how you kind of tie things together. Now if I just draw, if I just draw in the colored pencils as a block in that area, and last but not least, I'll put my pencil in front. Okay, now I'm going to add the background. Background is up above this corner and goes right, oop, that's too high. That means that I got to get this line again, like that. And it's over here behind there and crossing behind the colored pencils. All right, sometimes when I get excited at the end, when it's all coming together, I start to draw a little heavy. You'll see that I picked an ebony. I like to sketch in ebony even though it's really too dark. So unless there's a reason, like I'm gonna do a watercolor, I would never sketch in an ebony for a watercolor because it would never go away, but you can get away with it most times. Okay, so this is like the first step. So if you're looking at your slide while I'm sketching, this is like 5, A, use the midline and simple shapes. B, include detail. C, fill the whole space. So I've filled a lot of the space. This is a good size. I think you wouldn't want to be any smaller than this, obviously. And one of the things I noticed when I sat down and started setting mine up is that because I have a lamp right up here and I'm working here in the corner is right here, I've got like wainscoting so I could have some of these lines coming up. That's going to give some good detail. And when I'm right at my midline, that's kind of funny. And then there's trim in the corner. But then the most interesting part is that there's a space where the table ends, so there's like this real nice deep shadow that comes up, and because of the space, there's a deep dark shadow behind all these subjects, including behind like the pointy colored pencils, and there's like really interesting ones over here behind the can. So part of my composition could be, it's like really far out, the shadows. You know, there's shadows off this, and there's little shadows off this, and that would be fun. You know, what's being cast, and I could even make it more dramatic if I point the lights in special ways. Okay, so then you would go back in and you could get out your eraser as you do this, okay, and get in some more detail. So the actual shape of the Coke can, not Pepsi, the Coke can, okay, you want to do that. Try to draw realistically to make your drawing look like what you're actually seeing. So is the Coke can the general size and shape of Coke cans? Is it the right shape compared to this mug? Or does it look like it's sitting next to the mug the size of a thimble? Or is this mug now look the size of, you know, a lobster pot frying pan or saucepan? Do you know what I mean? Were you paying attention like I was showing, where you line up things according to, you know, how high they are and which direction they are. Okay? These are the things that I'm going to be looking for, and the things that I want you to really pay attention to. So for Fine Arts 1, shading is not required. Fine Arts 2, yes it is. Okay? So good luck with that. If you have any questions, you can send them to me. Okay? Can't wait to see those too. Bye.